Good afternoon, Writing 394. This is Professor Anderson with a little bit of insight into writing assignment number 4. I've had quite a lot of questions about it. I hope this helps you. So you may recall this Prezi about walking through the different elements of, let me go back a little bit. Walking through the different elements of Writing 394, the 4 basic assignments. Writing assignment number 1, where you're identifying and labeling communication barriers. And then let me just scroll through here. I think I shared this with you earlier. And then writing assignment number 2, where you do a synthesis of literature review. So you're collecting all of the secondary data, dividing it into 3 or 4 categories. This is writing assignment number 2, which we've all had our feedback and then our assessments on. Then writing assignment number 3, which was just turned in this past weekend, that rough draft of it, it's a letter to a decision maker. Remember that after you've identified a problem, you've researched the problem, and now you're applying to how that problem is observable in your work environment or your living environment. And so you're coming up with ways to gather primary research. Maybe that's a survey, maybe that's interviews, maybe that's some sort of polling or something like that you're doing with members that have firsthand knowledge or experience that communication barrier in your workplace, or where it is that you have the ability to gather that primary research. So that's that identifying that decision maker using a structured template, requesting permission to proceed with the primary research. Remember, this is not your workspace. And so because it's not your workspace, you need to make certain that you are gathering permission to be able to continue the research. And then writing assignment number 4, I've had a lot of questions like, so basically, do I just throw together the information that I've gathered from 1, 2, and 3, or that I've compiled from 1, 2, and 3? And the answer to that is kind of like yes and no. On the one hand, the research-based report is kind of like stitching together the information that you've collected, but you're not necessarily just weaving together those elements from writing assignment 1, 2, and 3. So here are the components of the research-based report, or the RBR is what I frequently reference it. It has 7 main components: a title page, a letter to the decision maker, executive summary, the table of contents, introduction, body, conclusion, and then the references. And this is how they fit together. The pieces are kind of like 1, 2, and 3 form the foundation of what 4 is like. Writing assignment number 3 is similar to the letter to a decision maker. However, writing assignment number 3, you recall, is a formal memo. The letter to the decision maker is different. It's almost like just a cover introductory. Here's what I've asked you about. I've been researching this, and here's the research that I've compiled for it. Writing assignment number 1, where you research the problem and you identified areas, is a little bit like an executive summary, although an executive summary is different in that it is more comprehensive. But in the big picture, the general constructs of what writing assignment number 1 was asking you to do, that's similar to the executive summary. And then writing assignment number 2, the synthesis of literature review, is kind of like the body, or half of the body, in that the introduction to what you found about the problem is identified, and then also information you would add to that introduction in the body, not just the secondary research, but also the primary elements. And so if we go to see how these parts function together, you've identified a problem in writing assignment number 1. You've researched the issue in writing assignment number 2. You've requested an investigation and to conduct primary research in writing assignment number 3. And writing assignment number 4, it reports on the findings and offers recommendations for this process that you've gone throughout the course. So the answer to is writing assignment number 4 just sort of putting together 1, 2, and 3? Sort of, I guess, is the answer. It does need to be finessed. There are some very specific structural elements that need to be included and sort of, changed for the specifics of the research-based report. But the general concept of writing assignment 1, 2, and 3 are the foundations of writing assignment number 4. So I hope that helps to answer your questions about, how this, how all these pieces fit together in writing 394.